I'd be lying if I said I didn't get a little feeling of glee seeing the scene in Game of Thrones Season 7. The setup wasn't the greatest. Pitting Arya and Sansa against each other felt a little out of character and cliche, but there was something so satisfying about seeing Littlefinger, one of the greatest manipulators in Westeros, get outsmarted by Professor X, Jean Grey, and Wolverine. However cool it was to see Arya using her Faceless Man skills to add another kill to her list, I was waiting for Sansa to do the deed. After all, I think Sansa Stark is destined to end Littlefinger in the books. No guys, I'm serious. Sansa's gonna kill Littlefinger. I promise. Softest girl in the world, Sansa Stark, is the eldest daughter of Eddard Stark and Catelyn Tully. And when we meet her, she's a typical teenage girl, pining after princes and stories and songs, and wanting nothing but pretty things. But her perceptions of the world are torn down, and her ideas about knighthood and royalty are destroyed during her time being held hostage in King's Landing by the Lannisters during a Game of Thrones and a Clash of Kings. It's in A Storm of Swords where she makes her escape during the chaos of the Purple Wedding with the combined help of Dantos Hollard, presumably the Queen of Thorns, Olenna Tyrell, and of course, Peter Baelish, aka Littlefinger. Littlefinger makes his intentions with Sansa clear throughout the books, comparing her to her mother Cat, and showing his affection for her during their time in the Eyrie during A Storm of Swords and A Feast for Crows. Basically, he had a crush on Catelyn when they were young, and sees a shadow of what he never got from her in Sansa, which is creepy beyond all reason, but that's just a footnote in the story. During Arya's travels in A Storm of Swords, she spends most of her time traveling through the Riverlands with the Brotherhood without banners. You know the group: Beric Dondarrion, Thoros of Myr, Tom Seven Strings, Gendry, Lem Lemoncloak, Michael, Tito, Jermaine, Jackie. There's a bunch of them. Point is, at some point they all go to a place called High Heart and meet the ghost of High Heart, a future-telling woods witch who trades songs from Tom Seven Strings, kisses, or wine in exchange for prophecies. "The old gods stir and will not let me sleep," she heard the woman say. "I dreamt I saw a shadow with a burning heart, butchering a golden stag. I dreamt of a man without a face, waiting on a bridge that swayed and swung. On his shoulder perched a drowned crow with seaweed hanging from his wings. I dreamt of a roaring river and a woman that was a fish. Dead she drifted, with red tears on her cheeks. When her eyes did open, oh, I woke from terror. All this I dreamt and more. Do you have gifts for me to pay for my dreams?" The dwarf woman drank deep, the wine running down her chin. When she lowered the skin, she wiped her mouth with the back of a wrinkled hand and said, "Sour wine for sour tidings. What could be more fitting? The king is dead. Is that sour enough for you?" Arya's heart caught in her throat. "Which bloody king is dead, crone?" Lem demanded. "The wet one, the Kraken King, my lords. I dreamt him dead and he died, and the iron squids now turn on one another. Oh, and Lord Hoster Tully's dead too. But you know that, don't you? In the Hall of Kings the goat sits alone and fevered as the great dog descends on him." The old woman took another long gulp of wine, squeezing the skin as she raised it to her lips. "I dreamt a wolf howling in the rain, but no one heard his grief," the dwarf woman was saying. "I dreamt such a clangor, I thought my head might burst. Drums and horns and pipes and screams, but the saddest sound was the little bells." And her track record is pretty legit. She predicts Balon Greyjoy's death and Euron Greyjoy's arrival in the Iron Islands. She predicts Catelyn being pulled out of the river following her death at the Red Wedding and her becoming Lady Stoneheart. And she even saw Stannis Baratheon's shadow killing Renly. But the most interesting part is what she has to say about Sansa. "I dreamt of a maid at a feast with purple serpents in her hair, venom dripping from their fangs, and later I dreamt that maid again, slaying a savage giant in a castle built of snow." She turned her head sharply and smiled from the gloom right at Arya. "You cannot hide from me, child. Come closer now." It's clear that Sansa is the one being spoken of in the prophecy. The purple serpents are the crystals of the strangler that made up her hairnet, or the necklace in the show, the poison used to kill Joffrey. But then she dreamt of her a second time, slaying a savage giant in a castle built of snow. Some think that the giant in the snow is Zombie Mountain or Sir Robert Strong in the books, the reincarnated corpse of Gregor Clegane. But the mountain and Sansa's connection is pretty tenuous at best, and non-existent in the books, so that leaves us with Littlefinger being the giant in the snow. But how do Littlefinger and the giant connect? By House Sigil. "But the sigil of House Baelish is a mockingbird," I hear you shouting at the screen. I hear you, stop yelling at me, I say, because it hasn't always been a mockingbird. Though hailing from the Fingers, a region on the east coast of Westeros that gave Baelish his nickname of Littlefinger, his family was originally from Braavos, one of the 9 free cities in Essos. It's mentioned in Sansa 6, A Storm of Swords, that House Baelish's original sigil was the head of a giant, probably an homage to the Titan of Braavos, the giant statue that welcomes people into the city. But Littlefinger changed it. And the Castle of Snow?
Winter is coming.
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 And winter is coming.
In the book, Sansa travels from the Eyrie down to the Gates of the Moon to meet with Littlefinger and the Bannermen of House Arryn. By then it's already snowing pretty hard. And we know in one of Jaime's chapters in A Feast for Crows that it's snowing in the Riverlands, and that the Citadel has sent out a white raven, signaling the start of winter. I don't think Sansa's story will follow her show storyline, with her immediately traveling back to Winterfell and everything that happened with the Boltons, but she and Littlefinger will be pent up in a castle made of snow somewhere, probably in the Vale. Or if it does follow the show, maybe they do travel north to Winterfell, and that's the Castle of Snow referred to in the Ghost of Highheart's dreams. I know I called Sansa the softest girl in the world earlier, but she's changed and strengthened so much in the books, and even over the course of the show. One of my favorite quotes in all the books is featured in Sansa 5, A Storm of Swords. "The gods heard my prayer," she thought. "She felt so numb and dreamy. My skin has turned from porcelain to ivory to steel." That's her character in a nutshell. Maybe the steel means she'll become a fighter, that she will slay a giant and become as steely as a sword. Maybe instead of wishing for a knight to save her like she used to, she becomes one herself in a sense. But regardless, I don't think Littlefinger's manipulation of her and pining for her will pan out. At some point she has to have enough of his games. And maybe in a twist on what he does to Lysa Arryn, Sansa's aunt, Sansa kills Littlefinger after he truly confesses his love for her. But who knows, I might be wrong about all of this. What do you guys think? Do you think Sansa will kill Littlefinger, or do you think the books will follow the show? Do you think it'll be someone else who ends Baelish once and for all? Leave a comment down in the pit. I want to hear what you guys think. And thanks for watching. Bye. Alright, this is my Sansa Stark video. And I've actually never read out loud to people, so this is going to be kind of weird. I have to read from the book. I don't know if I should do accents. I probably shouldn't do accents. That'd be kind of weird. And when we meet her, she's a typical teenage girl, pining after princes and stories and songs, and wanting nothing more but nothing more. She wants nothing more but pretty things. But she dreamt of her a second time, slaying a savage dragon in a castle built of snow. Something that the giant in the snow... Did I say savage dragon? Oh my gosh, like the... Damn it, Image Comics. You got me this time. Is it for a savage dragon? Hold on. Okay, I said savage dragon like some sort of idiot. Who's reading savage dragon? Why did I say savage? Oh, it's probably because of Game of Thrones, but the dragon says giants and crumbles so close. Alright, let me reread that line. Savage dragon, my gosh.